Hi, my name is Rylan. I make movies. Some of them are weird. Sometimes when people see my movies, they say things like, if you just do X, so many more people will like it. Don't you want people to like your films? So this is what I want to talk about right now. So my answer is, yes, I want people to like my films. But this is where there's a problem, because if I start tailoring a film to just be what I think other people will like, it won't really be my film anymore. It won't really be anyone's film, it'll just be a thing. And then who the hell cares if people like it? It has to be my film. And what I mean by that is just that it's something I really believe in and care about. That it's not just making something to make something. There are so many easier ways to make money if that's the primary goal.
I don't think anyone starts anything with the dream of not making money.
Do they not?
I mean, it can't just be about making something that people like, right? Do you know some of the things that people have liked? Now, to be clear, I'm not saying all things that people like are bad, but you have to have some other criteria that's guiding you, right? I mean, don't you care about something?
Don't you care? Warren, don't you even care?
Don't you believe in something? Remember those things people used to have called principles?
And I'm gonna stay right here and fight for this lost cause, even if this room gets filled with lies like these.
Well, let me clue you into something. Whether or not it's something you identify as important, I swear to you it is.
What?
That's right. You value principles in the creators of the content you consume, whether you realize it or not.
I do?
Have you ever watched a movie and thought, I don't like this because they're just trying to be like that other movie that was popular last year?
Yeah, all the time.
So, that's a problem, you say?
It sure is.
Did you ever think about what that means?
No, not really.
It means that you don't want to be lied to. It means you want the people who make your entertainment to actually believe in what they're making.
I do?
And more than that, you actually care about the principles you're inferring. Whether conscious or unconscious, it plays a huge role in what you like.
Wow, gee, thanks, mister.
There's a movie I personally love called Grosse Pointe Blank, but it took me a long time to really think about why. The movie is a dark comedy about a hitman played by John Cusack, who goes home for his high school reunion. As an adult, I started to realize how great a metaphor that was for the transition people make in their 20s and feeling like you've sold your soul to the devil in some way, and also for feeling alienated by all of your peers who seem to have a very quote-unquote normal life when you just can't fall in line.
And they'll all have husbands and wives and children and houses and dogs and, they'll make themselves a part of something and they can talk about what they do. And what am I going to say? I killed the president of Paraguay with a fork. How have you been?
Also, for a teenage boy, there are a lot of cool action scenes, a super cool soundtrack of 80s hits, and some scenes that are just funny. The point is, there are some obvious reasons for people to enjoy Grosse Pointe Blank, but the reasons I kept watching it over and over were deeper than that. I related to it on a personal level. It's about not fitting in with what society tells you you're supposed to be, and fear of being discovered as some sort of twisted anomaly. The only way I think you can really get these deeper themes into a film in an effective way is by following your genuine instincts. And I would honestly be thrilled if what I most wanted to make was a movie about robots punching fish monsters. There's nothing wrong with making that stuff if that's what you really love, but for me it's just not. I'm not going to pretend that it is. I can't. If I don't believe in what I'm making, I really think it could only ever be a hollow shell of a film. I understand that most people do things they don't fully believe in for their paycheck, and that's fine, but filmmaking and storytelling and art are supposed to be more than that. It's expression, it's supposed to mean something. It's not supposed to just be a coldly calculated endorphin fix that you immediately forget about. Am I the only one disturbed by the fact that words like addictive and binge-worthy are now used in advertisements? My key criteria for anything creative is just did it seem like the people who made this really felt strongly about it and genuinely wanted to make it for their own personal reasons. And honestly, I think that's what everyone is looking for, even the dumb masses. They want to be entertained, but everyone gets annoyed when they feel they're being pandered to.
You've been back enough. I'll be back.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Somehow people keep constantly assuming they can get away with it, but you can't. And even if you can, it should be beside the point, because if you do that, you are lying, and you are part of the problem, and you're making the world worse, I swear. I'll tell you some things I really believe in. I believe in principles, truth, communication, the sharing of ideas and of imaginations. I believe these things are incredibly important to progress and the functioning of a society. You have to share ideas, your ideas.
But Rylan, what if no one else is interested? Why would you want to make a movie that no one cares about?
Well, let's define no one, okay? Usually it means like no one, like zero. Seems like with the arts and especially film, people often will say no one when they basically just mean not everyone. But there's a lot of room in there. There are a lot of people in the world. One of my favorite movies of the past couple years was called Christine, which many people have said no one saw. Christine actually made about $300,000, which means roughly 30,000 people saw it. The film I'm currently trying to raise money for will only cost $80,000, which would mean only 8,000 people need to see it to break even. So, no one sounds fine to me. Honestly, knowing the way films have affected me personally, just a handful of people being really into it would make it personally worth it to me. But films do cost money.
But Rylan, how will you ever find these scattered random people who will like your films? How can you ever hope to get anyone's attention for your bizarre, depressing films no one cares about in a world run by clickbait and reality TV and cat videos?
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. Might not work out. I have to admit that the stand I'm taking could lead to complete failure, but if that happens, I'll accept it without regret. Because, remember principles? Those things that you really believe in? Don't you have those? Don't you care about something?
Don't you care?
Aren't there things you believe in strongly enough to suffer for?
Don't you care?
What other reason is there to be here, alive and breathing? So that's all there is to it. I don't really see it as a choice. I'll leave you with this quote from David Foster Wallace's Infinite Jest. You are completely and only what you would die for. So figure it out. Be something. Just don't be a fucking liar. The world's got enough of those already. Remember this guy?
I only make films that interest me, and in the hopes that they will interest other people being like me, or my being like others.
You have, in fact, the artist's conviction that what interests you will probably interest other people.